It also could be like a super senses type quirk, and that goes back to Spider-Man, you know, the spider sense and all of that stuff.
So we got the spoilers for chapter 295, and it's looking like this arc is about over at this point, but let's get into it. So the panel shows Deku waking up after being unconscious due to the hot wind from Dabi's quirk. Upon waking up, he was looking for Todoroki and was relieved when he saw Todoroki was alive. That's because in the previous chapter, you know, he got hit by Dabi and all of that stuff. So he was kind of like in a critical condition, I guess. Deku was describing he kept on having this feeling where he felt like there's something stabbing his head. Deku guessed it was One For All's fourth predecessor's quirk, which is the ability knowledge to sense crisis. So yeah, it's officially revealed now that is the fourth user's quirk. Therefore, it is Deku's fourth quirk. I don't want to break my arm, pat myself on the back here because I already put it in the beginning of this video, but you know, in that video where, you know, a couple months ago where I speculated about what Izuku's future quirks were going to be, I assumed it was going to be something like this. Because going back to the Spider-Man thing, I think that was like a good trail of breadcrumbs to follow after, because, you know, he said it was his favorite hero, and I was like, oh, spider sense, that would be a cool quirk to have, and it seems like Izuku would have something like that, and there you go. This is pretty much just spider sense. And yeah, it's not as sexy as Izuku having like decay, which is, you know, one of the other popular theories as to what his quirk would have been, because, you know, the lines in the guy's face, it kind of looks like how the decay quirk like travels and whatnot. And that would have been cool. Don't get me wrong. It would have been interesting, but I like it better that he has spider sense. I think Izuku having decay might have slightly ruined the story a little bit and taken, you know, Shigaraki's thunder away from him and his uniqueness. And also, I think there's a whole other aspect to decay that still needs to come to the surface. The way that, like, when it's revealed in Shigaraki's past, when he does get the quirk, Yujiko's like, oh, it's like a rare variant that we've never seen before. And also, pretty sure All For One gave Shigaraki that quirk, considering he was most likely born quirkless. So instead of it belonging to like a previous One For All user, I would like it if there's another like revelation to it that doesn't really have to do with them, you know what I mean? Through internal monologue, Deku also explains that his quirk has not been trained yet because it's just when the Black Whip quirk emerged. This quirk made his head hurt so bad and the burden to his body is too big. He felt his consciousness slipping out. So yeah, it makes sense to me. I like when MCs don't automatically know how to master something after it just coming to them. I'm looking at you, Demon Slayer. But yeah, Black Whip, that was out of control. So this is going to have some kind of negative aspect to it at first, of course. And also, it's possible that we might have even seen him tap into this quirk a little bit previously in this arc. Actually, just a couple chapters back, like when he's going against Shigaraki, we see like the Harry Potter-esque bolt thing come down his face. And, you know, it's similar to the fourth user's mark, so I don't think that was a coincidence. And also, he's like, this feeling, just like earlier. So I think that was Horikoshi, you know, like establishing that at that point, which is pretty cool. Mirio swiftly hit Mr. Compress to stop him. Where Mr. Compress thought to himself he wanted more time, he explained through internal monologue that the Nomus are moving based on Shigaraki's order. Right now, Shigaraki is still in a confused state, and once he's awake, they can flip this situation to their favor. Mr. Compress is trying to buy time for Shigaraki and Spinner, saying that he hoped Spinner can wake Shigaraki up because he's the closest to Shigaraki. Dabi was hidden in Spinner's scarf as a marble. So yeah, it's looking like this is how they're truly going to escape here via Nomu travel, because there's plenty of near high ends or pseudo high ends here that are just carrying Shigaraki and the rest of the League of Villains away. And as for Mr. Compress, it's looking like he might die here, right? I mean, I assumed in the previous chapter that he was basically bound to die. I mean, he gouged out that huge portion of his body. He said it's his last act or his last performance or whatever he says. So it's looking like he might bite the dust here, which is kind of bittersweet because we just got the big reveal of him. We finally got Mr. Compress's big character significance, which, you know, we've all kind of been looking forward to at this point. There's a reason why he's stuck around so long, and now that we got it, he's just going to die. I mean, it's not confirmed yet that he is straight up dead, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make it out of this arc. I mean, I want to see, you know, all of the League of Villains here make it into the, you know, the latter half of the series. And also, you know, we can kind of breathe easy now because this is, I guess, more or less confirming that we are going to get like that huge second half of the series. Like, this is pretty much the Marineford, you know, going back to One Piece, of My Hero Academia. Mirio was about to hit them. Shigaraki was awake, and it was shown that the Nomus were responding. Mirio, Genis, Ida, Bakugo were shown to be blown away by the force of Shigaraki's awakening. But the one awake was not Shigaraki, it was All For One. He said that Shigaraki has good comrades. The anger from Shigaraki's comrades gave All For One power, even if All For One was just living inside Shigaraki. All For One said, "Go and increase your hatred, Tomura. Let the hate flow through you." The Nomus are on the move. Spinner was asking Shigaraki, who was actually unconscious, in panic about Mr. Compress, Makia, and Toga. All For One answered with, "It's okay, Iguchi-kun," Spinner's name. Tomura lost to One For All and Endeavor, so let him compensate for that. Everything is for my sake. Deku was trying to catch Shigaraki with his black whip from his mouth, ? And All For One said, "Once Tomura's body is complete, let's meet again. Good for nothing, Izuku Midoriya." And then All For One used force to throw Deku's body, and Deku was thrown back. Deku told All For One to wait, and as he was falling, he had internal thoughts thinking that Shigaraki had hurt so many people, and he should be someone unforgivable. But during the time in the vestige where All For One took control of Shigaraki, Deku thought that his face looked like someone who wanted to be saved. This is pretty interesting, and this goes back to my theory about All For One's ultimate goal is probably having Shigaraki be his new vessel. And I know that kind of angers some people, but it seems like it's, you know, maybe likely true at this point. I don't know. There's a reason why All For One is sticking around. There's a reason why he keeps interfering with Shigaraki, keeps trying to take over his body and all that stuff. So come on, just, you know, let's try to put two and two together here. Now, it's not concrete, of course. I mean, maybe All For One has some kind of ulterior motive that doesn't involve taking over him. But I mean, come on, him saying here, like, once Shigaraki's body is complete, we'll meet each other again. Because we know that Shigaraki is currently at 75%. So maybe once he gets to 100%, that's when All For One is fully able to take over his body. But this is good news, like I said, because it's looking like we're going to go into like a whole second half of this series now. You know, like at least another 200 chapters. Hopefully, we're going to get like maybe even the second sports festival. Oh my God, can you imagine how hyped that would be, the second sports festival? But let me know what you think about this in the comments. Where do you think things are headed? And if you liked the video, guys, please give it a like. Also have a Patreon and a Twitch. Check those out. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.